Now I know a lot of you guys have been chomping at the bit because you want to know more about the Lost Waterfall of Gold. Well, I can't tell you too much about it, but I'm going to show you what I know, and we're going to try to find the source. Here you can see the waterfall at the back of the canyon, and here's a close-up shot of that same waterfall. Now when we were scouring the area, we happened to notice this weird cave, and it almost looks like there's some kind of buildings or structures on the inside of it. Those are the mountains I'm talking about. There's no way you're driving a UTV over the top of that. You might be able to fly over it, but you're gonna have to hoof it in. Now I've got a general idea of where this waterfall's at, but I might be a few miles off. All that igneous rock there, and what do you see next to it? All this sediment. That doesn't look right. How do you get sediment sitting on top of igneous rock? See this fine texture clay, this sediment? There's only one way that I know of that this got here, and that is with a lot of water. Now I'm going to presume that this was dumped here from glacial melt. Based off of what I've seen in the area, this whole place was underwater at one time. But this is how this sediment got here, this fine-grained clay. So it's really interesting. If I was to guess, you're going to have some really interesting erosion patterns where there's a lot of water. We're going to take a look around real quick and see if we can find that. This is very similar to what you see up at Cathedral Gorge right outside of Pioche. This is exactly what I was talking about. Look at all that erosion. See that? Just like Cathedral Gorge. Nice. You gotta watch out because these guys are climbing around everywhere out here. I think he wants to go home with me. All right, let's get up onto the hills and find out what we can see.
Under the scorching sun of the 1880s, where the unforgiving desert stretched endlessly, an old prospector named Ezekiel "Zeke" McAllister ventured into the arid vastness in pursuit of a legendary treasure. Zeke, with his grizzled beard and a sun-beaten hat, carried the weight of years spent chasing elusive dreams. Whispers of a hidden dry waterfall cascaded through the dusty saloons and campfires, a shimmering mirage of gold nuggets waiting to be discovered. Armed with nothing but a canteen, days turned into nights, and Zeke's journey led him deeper into the desolate wilderness. He deciphered the clues left behind by those who had come before him. The petroglyphs revealed a sequence of landmarks that led to the fabled dry waterfall, the golden oasis in the heart of the desert. Following the clues, Zeke traversed narrow canyons and climbed rugged plateaus until he stood before the awe-inspiring sight of the hidden treasure. The dry waterfall, frozen in time. He stumbled upon a peculiar rock, its contours shaped like a massive skull, half buried in the sands. The hollow eye sockets and jagged grins seemed to leer at him with a mysterious promise. A chill ran down Zeke's spine as he examined the eerie landmark, realizing it was no ordinary rock. It was a key to the secrets of the desert. Determined, Zeke pressed on, the shimmering heat waves distorting the landscape as he crossed dunes and navigated through canyons. Dry waterfall, frozen in time, sparkled with the glint of gold nuggets embedded in the ancient rock. A ledge, concealed for centuries, cradled the precious bounty that had lured prospectors and dreamers into the desert's embrace. In that moment of triumph, Zeke McAllister felt a connection with the generations before him. A humble prospector who had turned the whispers of legends into the tangible riches of the desert.
I tell you what, looking for gold mines, lost gold mines, and new low deposits will test your mettle every time. I got to make it up to the top of that ridge. I'm gonna go on the other side of the saddle, then I'm gonna hike up in that canyon and see if I can see anything. If I spot something, I'll show you what I got, but I think I'm really close. And I'll show you what that waterfall looks like up close. I'm not gonna show you exactly where, because I don't want you running out here and taking all the gold. I got some caves over here, you see them? These are always good to check out because you never know. The old timers hid something up in there. See that? I don't think it's in there. There's another one up on top. Because every now and then you're gonna find a cave where somebody hid something about 100 years ago. And you might just be the lucky one to retrieve it. But if you do find something, I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't tell anybody, okay? Got this beautiful, beautiful vein sandwiched into this granitic host rock. And look at the mineralization that's in there. Isn't that nice? And you can see where somebody was digging right up against the hanging wall. You can see the alteration zones on the outer edges. So we just have to keep an eye out for more veins. Oh, that looks like the other section of it right there. See it up on the ridge? Yeah, veins don't stop. They just pop out somewhere else. You can see I've got a fissure there with a little bit of alteration. You can see it, but it's nothing to write home about. It's all part of this same complex. So we're gonna see if it turns into anything better. This is a prime example of why you need to make sure you know exactly what your limitations are and what the weather's gonna be like in these areas you plan on prospecting. Because the roads change every year. And there's gonna be times where you can't get even a bicycle or motorcycle in. You're just gonna have to get out there on foot. There's no two ways around it. And you better be ready and prepared for that, especially if you start finding stuff. So make sure you know your limitations and you go during the right time of the year. You see that up there on the face? That's a sill running across, and I got a dike cutting up through it. Now, if I had to guess, the dike was formed after the sill, and it looks like I found a small fissure running almost vertical. You see that? And it fractured it apart, except for that one little area. You see where it did not swell it out? So that's a classic example of pinch and swell. So you've got the dike coming down, and then it pinches through that small fissure, which is the original fissure, and then it comes down and swells out again. And then, of course, you've got another dike that's traveling upward up to the surface. But this is really amazing because it gives a great illustration of how you have dikes and sills, and how the sills can be created by dikes, or the dikes can be created by sills. All right, let's keep moving on. There's another sill right there, see it? Isn't that cool? The way these are created sometimes is what's called lateral secretion. Basically, if there's a small fissure just big enough for any material to get in there, that material will be injected into it from either another dike or a sill. And when it travels sideways, they call it lateral secretion. It literally will force its way in. And that's how you can have sills out that pinch on both sides. Because a lot of geologists for years couldn't figure out, especially in the mother lode country, how did these sills get in place, or some of these quartz veins that are in the black slate? Well, they later determined that it was through a process called fault hydraulicking and lateral secretion. So when the ground starts to shift and move, it opens up little fissures, and enough pressure will shoot up, get in there into these little tiny areas, and then fill the void, spread it, and that'll be as far as it can go because the fissure or fracture doesn't go any further. So they call it lateral secretion. I can actually look at the different bedding planes of all this sediment material that's been coming down here. I don't see anything that basically gets me excited, so I'm hoping as we get up further, we start to see indicators like black sand, types of quartz, which is referred to as slope. And I figured this canyon's got to have at least one or two waterfalls in it, either coming off a tributary or at the very head. So hopefully we find something. Ooh, I got my first waterfall. Got my first waterfall. Look at that. Oh, and I got caves everywhere. Look at that. Caves everywhere. There's the waterfall right there. You see it? You see it? Oh man, this is some tough country. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Nice. Okay, let's get up in there and take a look. Look at that. Look at that. Got a nice pocket here. This would be a good place to sample right here. Nice place to sample. Whew. Oh man, I tell you, after the rain, a lot of these rocks are slippery. See what I mean? Look at this water. Another great example right there of parallel veins. You see them? They're all running parallel. And look at this one. This one right here, the little tiny one. So what has happened is because of hydraulic fracturing and because of lateral secretion, you got this little tiny one on the side. It looks like it came from nowhere. That's why a lot of times you can have these big veins that are very rich and everybody thinks they're tapped out because they've mined them all. Well, if you were just to do a crosscut left or right, you might be able to tap into one of these things. Because a lot of times the parallel veins don't daylight. Wow, beautiful country, but it just goes on forever. Oh, look, 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 look. See the black sand? Oh, it's getting really thick now. That's a good sign. But this canyon just goes on and on forever. It looks like it's getting muddier too. Beautiful country up in here, isn't it? Look at that. Look at that. See where I'm going? That is absolutely gorgeous. I don't think anybody's been up here in a long, long time. Look at that. Oh, you know, it's getting narrow. That's a pinch point right there. And look at that. Huge waterfall. And see all the rocks down below? That's perfect. And look at this. Look at all this black sand. Just gobs and gobs of it. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Look at all that black sand. Oh, you know I'm getting close. You know I'm getting close. Oh, and it's getting cold too. Oh, gobs of black sand. Look at this. Absolutely amazing. The temperature just dropped like 10 degrees. Oh, it's cold back in here. I'm glad I got my jacket on. And there's snow up on the mountains. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? This is perfect. See how narrow the canyon's getting? And look at this. See? You can see these veins right here. This is a good example. I want you to see this. So there's another fault right here. And this vein has jogged to the left. And you see that a lot with mining companies who are chasing a vein down like this one. And they're going down and all of a sudden, boop, it disappears. Why? Because there's a fault here and it's jogged the vein off to the left or the right. See that? So when they get to the bottom of the vein, they're like, hey, where did the heck did the vein go? Well, they have to do a cross cut left or right or to keep dropping down. And sometimes the fault will actually jog this vein over several hundred feet, sometimes hundreds of meters. So they're hard to find, but I wanted you to see that. It's a classic example. And you can see some more evidence of that. And this one here, where this little tiny fissure opens up into this guy. And that is how you get pinch and swell on a lot of your vein structures, whether it's mesothermal or epithermal. I know it's got to be up here somewhere. Oh, look at this hard pack. Look at this. Look at that. That's all hard pack, or hard pan as they call it. That's great to sample off of. Oh, that's fantastic. Look, I got hydrothermal alteration up here on the wall. You see that? That's perfect. And I must have some water seepage here. Look at this. Right here. And this is what I've been looking for. This is what I was looking for. Look, see the waterfall? See the waterfall? Look at this. Look at this. Now that's a waterfall. Now I know it's not very big, but look inside. Oh yeah. Now I was hoping to have a pool of water here so I could sample pan. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to get up there. I guess I could just wedge myself in there. This is fantastic. Look at this. And look at the gravels. Gravels are all the way up there on the canyon wall. And the gravels are all the way up there, 30 feet. This is a perfect place to sample because all the gold would have got caught right in here. But it's going to be hard for me to sample without any water. And see the root systems right in here. I don't know where they're coming from. It goes all the way up about 30 feet. Here's another example here. You can see the water. See the gravels and the sand way up there. About 30 feet. Jeez. And look at this. This is what you're looking for. See all these heavy gravels? That is what you're sampling. Remember, flow sand isn't going to have hardly any gold in it. It's going to take a lot of water pressure to move stones like that. So remember, big stones, big gold, little stones, little gold. You interpret that the way you like. And this would be a good place to sample right up in here behind this rock. Look at this alteration right here. This thing's been altered. And you can see where the iron's coming from too. All right, I'm gonna try to pull some samples from him, but I don't really have much water to play with. And don't forget to smash that like button. Smash it hard. At the end of this video, I'll leave a snapshot up of the gold that's coming up out of those hills. At the end of each month, we give away a brand new Gold Monster 1000 metal detector, not to mention bags and bags of pay dirt from our drift mine, and if you're good, we give away 1 kilogram silver bars. If you wanna get involved with that, all you gotta do is look for the little icon at the end of the video that looks like that. Click on it, make a $10 pledge, and you're in like Flynn. And if you want to see more videos on finding lost gold mines, I got the perfect video for you right there. And I'll see you on the next video.